I want to take a few minutes of your time to tell you about some of the new things that we're doing in the Chrome DevTools, specifically focused on mobile. But to do that, I really want to take back the clock like 2 years, back before remote debugging. 2 years ago, like developing for mobile was something along the lines of, OK, let's view it on desktop. And then I'll come over and I'll kind of drag the window. Yeah, OK. And then I'll pick up my device and I'll type it in there. OK, I need to make a change. I'll come back here. And that is like, it's a very slow iteration cycle. And that just slows you down and makes it much harder to create compelling content. So we've been thinking about this, and we want to make that much better. We want those iteration cycles to be really fast. We want it to be as easy to debug and develop for mobile as it is on desktop. And so I'm going to talk about 3 things today. First up, remote debugging, talking about the browser on the device, the real experience over there, and then talk about bringing some of those mobile characteristics onto the desktop, and then kind of bringing it all into a development workflow and making it fast and fluid. So first up, remote debugging. So actually, you know what? So I got my phone right here, and I want to remote debug it. So what I'm going to do is come up to the top here, click on Chrome's hot dog menu. It's the official name. And we'll go down to Tools, and then down at the bottom down here is Inspect Devices. So that's what we're going to do. Now you see here that there's a checkbox on Discover USB devices. This is because the discovery and communication for devices to remote debug is now inside Chrome completely. You used to have to download the Android SDK, get the ADB binary, or get a Chrome extension. Forget all that. You just plug in the device. So I'll plug in mine now. And all right, cool. So we have, looks like on my phone I have 2 different Chromes. We have Chrome 32, Chrome 31. I have 2 tabs open here. I can do an inspection. I can change which tab is my active tab, reload and close. So I have a little bit of control. And I want to actually just open up a new tab. So I'm going to just type in a new URL right here. And I'm going to go to news.google.com. OK, so it opened up on my device. And you can see it here. And I have the DevTools. Cool. So I'm just going to, this is the actual DevTools. It's working. It's cool. It's awesome. And when I highlight, you can kind of see. Can you see? No. OK, probably not. But I'd love to be able to show you this. And in fact, when we think about kind of remote debugging, it's a lot of, I have my DevTools here, and then I have my device down here. And it's a lot of switching back and forth. And we thought that there's probably a better way to bring what you're looking at down here and have it visible on the screen where your tools are. So we have right here this little icon. And this is a new feature that we're unveiling today, and it's called Screencast. And we're able to bring the screen onto the device right here. So this is really cool. All right, so let's interact with this page. Let's search. OK, I'm going to just click and search, and I'm going to type Google Chrome. You know what? Typing with my thumbs is really slow. Keyboards are way faster. Let's just switch over to my keyboard here and finish this off. Nice. All right, so I can type, I can click, I can scroll. I can just scroll on my trackpad. No problem. I'm going to go over to Images and do my real favorite feature here. Inspect element. Works the way you'd want it to. Just pick it with your mouse. Works flawlessly. Really nice. So this is really cool stuff. I also have full control here of back, forward, reload. And I'm actually just going to go to a different site. Let's see. I'm going to come back here, focus this other tab, and we'll bring that up. So this is a cool site. You might have seen it before. It's a beer camp kind of advertisement. I'm going to go landscape to make this a little bit better. And one of the things that I want to show is that this is a really cool site where I kind of have this flipbook effect. The guys at Include did a great job on this. But imagine it was very hard to develop, because what they're doing is they're manipulating these CSS 3D transforms in 3D space and kind of changing all this. I'm going to show a new kind of experimental feature that we're still working on. It's the Layers panel. So here now, I'm able to identify in 3D space what this is like. So I get a live preview of these layers. You heard Tom and Nat talking yesterday about layers, and now I'm able to see what they look like in a 3D representation. Nice. Yeah, you like it? Now, they said to look out for the extra information, and it tells you quite a bit of stuff. So right now, we're showing the position, the size, why it was composited, which is often a really key piece of information. Also, an estimate on how much memory it has, how many paints have gone in. So you're getting a lot of insight, especially into something like the GPU behavior on a device, which thus far has been kind of a black box. All right. So we're going to come out of this. So for USB debugging, just plug it in. Don't worry about ADB. Don't worry about Chrome extensions. You're good. The feature set that's available while you're remote debugging is the same very powerful feature set that you used to on desktop, all that stuff. Timeline, memory debugging, all of it's there. You can screencast your screen, interact with it, inspect, type, click. The clicks are translated to touches. It's exactly what you would expect. And port forwarding is one more, but I'm going to show that a little bit later. I wanted to ask, though, OK, so raise your hands if you test your stuff on 2 devices. 2 devices. Keep your hands raised if you test your stuff on 10 devices. It's kind of a lot. I understand. But I imagine that for everyone, and congratulations for all you 10-device people. You guys are heroes. That is serious work. But I imagine that that there are more than 10 devices that come to your site, right? It's hard for us to evaluate compatibility with all of those. So remote debugging is very powerful for understanding performance characteristics, network conditions, things like that, but we can't do that for every possible device that we need to check compatibility against. So on Chrome DevTools, we've thought about this and thought about what we can do. And so today, I'm going to show a new feature called mobile emulation. So this is some cool stuff. And let me just show it to you. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to open up Wikipedia, the article for the emulator. And I'm interested in kind of doing some mobile. So I want to change how this is represented on mobile devices. And so I'm just going to try changing the screen size. OK, fortunately, this is not your responsive kind of experience that you want. All right. Let's open up DevTools. Now, down in the bottom is a drawer. You can access it with this icon, or you can just hit Escape. I'm going to do that. And you might be used to seeing the console down here, but there's a new tab called Emulation. Inside Emulation, there's a lot of stuff. There's characteristics for the screen resolution, the device pixel ratio, auto sizing, viewport, user agent, geolocation, good stuff. There's a lot of things, and so there's a few device presets in here that'll help set all these at once. So I'm actually just going to choose this Nexus 4 here. And it has a few viewport settings of its own, a device pixel ratio of 2, a user agent, and I'm just going to turn on emulation. Now, Wikipedia serves different markup to mobile devices, so I just need to do a refresh first. But yeah, this is a little bit more like what I'm expecting. So a standard user agent spoofing would probably be able to at least get the markup in CSS for this. But we're doing a lot more than just that. First up, I can scroll, and you can see as I scroll, the content for the pages, I see it sliding out of the viewport, right? My cursor is changed to this to indicate that it is now kind of a touch cursor. In fact, as I touch events are firing. I can hold down Shift and actually do a pinch, too. So I can zoom just like you would do with your fingers. And this is the exact same viewport zooming that you would expect, that you would see on a phone. We put a lot of effort into making sure that the view here that you see is as close as it is, as close as you would see on a real device. And so I'm going to try bring this over here and just remote debug it, bring it up on my phone since I have one of these. Screencast, hello. And we'll come back to this. And we're looking pretty good. So there's a lot going in here. One of the things that I want to point out is that there are, in some cases, so you can see we're enabling text auto-sizing. and also Android font metrics. These font metrics are something that us developers are not normally exposed to. It turns out that on Android WebKit, and devices can actually set a little fudge factor to change the size of how fonts are rendered. This is never exposed to us in CSS or JavaScript or anything else like that, but devices have this. It mostly affects sites that do not have a meta viewport applied, so kind of desktop sites that are viewed. But luckily, inside Blink and WebKit, we kind of know what all these are, so we just baked them into the emulation to make sure that the text that you see inside emulation mode is as close as possible as to what you would see on the actual device. All right, so I'm going to come back here. And I wanted to talk about another feature that's in there, and it's device pixel ratio. So my MacBook Air is not a Retina machine. It has a device pixel ratio of 1. And in fact, we can see that here. This page is just a really basic demo. It uses image set. And we choose the kind of asset based on the device pixel ratio of the device. And so when I view it on my machine, it's just the 1x image that's coming in. I'm going to open up DevTools and turn on emulation, and we're seeing 2x. So the device pixel ratio emulation captures all of this. In fact, things like image set act exactly the way you would expect. Window.device pixel ratio, any device pixel ratio media queries, all of that code that everything goes through on mobile browsers, it's now going through all of that in the emulation feature inside the Chrome DevTools. I took a look at a few more other sites. This is me with the Nexus S emulating the Boston Globe, and I have an old Nexus S, so I just brought that up. Looking pretty sharp side by side. And then I went flower shopping for my mom for Thanksgiving. Again, we're looking very close now. So that's the thing, is that we really think that having the ability to emulate many of the characteristics of these mobile devices saves you a lot of time. And so you don't always have to go down to your actual devices. One more thing. This is kind of an interesting situation. This is the Chromium bug tracker, as you can see. And when I resize, it it just kind of sticks there. But interestingly, you spend a lot of time in your browser, and you've experienced kind of desktop pages, especially with fixed positioning. And you zoom in. I'm just doing a shift pinch right here. You'll notice this kind of a thing happens. This is a behavior that you cannot really emulate normally just by resizing the window. And because we have viewport emulation inside of this feature, we can really mimic the behavior that you get on a phone. So mobile emulation captures your standard screen resolution, the device pixel ratio, the text auto-sizing behavior. It happens mostly with pages that do not have a meta viewport set. The viewport, so this is the viewport width equals device width, or you're setting it to something else. All of that is now baked in here. That's something that we haven't been able to do on desktop before. Touch events, of course, including synthetic gestures like pinch, zoom, and pan. And then your standard user agent string, device geolocation, orientation, that stuff. I'm going to show one more here. This is forecast.io. Many people have probably seen this site before. Really nice, well-developed site. But it doesn't really, my standard approach would not probably work here. And even clicking these menus in map, it looks like they're only bound with touch events. So it's a little bit challenging to approach this completely on desktop. So I'm going to go into DevTools, turn on emulation, and just give it a quick refresh. And this is looking a lot more like what I would expect. I can swipe this out. I can go into the menu, even go into the map. And my touch move events are behaving just like I would expect. All right, so with mobile emulation, you can do a lot of things. Emulate the rendering and mobile characteristics that you would get on many devices and have it right here on desktop. You can also see what a Retina would look like on a non-Retina machine and the vice versa. And identify if you have different assets coming in for different pixel ratios, emulate that all right here. All right, lastly, iterating quickly, especially on mobile. And to do this, I'm going to launch a demo and show a feature called Workspaces. This is something that we launched at Google I/O earlier this year. So I have the site coming up. OK, cool. HTML5 please is the site. But you can see I'm hosting it off of localhost. But I really want to do some development on my phone. So I can take this over and go over to About Inspect and open up my tab. And it's not. Come on. Oh. Right. Localhost 8000 on the phone is the phone, and the phone doesn't have a web server on it. So, right. OK, cool. We'll come back here. Ah, yes. Port forwarding. OK, cool. So let's forward the port. So right here, we're going to forward my machine's localhost 8000, send it over to the device on its 8000. We'll turn that guy on. Done. His green lights light up and say, you're all good to go. And let's try this again. Refresh. Nice. All right. All right, cool. So I have my local project, and I want to make some changes. I'm just going to inspect element on my phone, and we're going to come down here. And it looks like, actually, these styles are coming in from sass right here. And with sass, we have source map support. So actually, if I just hold down Command, I can click on this property, and we'll go to the original location in the authored source where that background was defined. So it's actually in a mixin. The color, it looks like it's coming in as a variable. Let's jump out and Command-click on the color this time. OK, cool. This is the variables file. And the color is defined right down here. And I want to change it a little bit. So let's lighten it up just a touch. I'll type lighten, and we'll go for 20%. And I'll just hit save. Nice. Cool. What do you think? 50%? A little bit more? Or, we could darken it back up. Yeah, that's good. Nice. So what we're doing here is that I'm typing sass. I'm hitting save inside the DevTools because I just navigated right over from the style pane to my original authored code. I'm hitting save. I'm getting a recompilation of that sass into the CSS, and DevTools like, hey, you just changed your CSS. Let me show it to you. OK, cool. So that's pretty good. And this looks good to me. I'm going to change one more thing about this behavior while I'm here on my phone. This text box is cool, but it needs a little bit of spicing up. So I'm going to improve things a little bit. I'm going to jump into the script file. I hit Command-O and jump into script.js. And I know the function that I want to take a look at. So I'm going to hit Command-Shift-O and dive into update search. I'm going to add in one little small piece of functionality here. I'm just going to tweak things every time I every time I type into the search box. Wow, WebKit transform. The prefixes are on their way. We're working on it. All right, so this looks good to me, right? Math.random360. I think it's going to be great. So what I'm doing is I just finished typing that script out. I'm just going to hit save. And when I hit save, the new function definition gets sent to V8. V8's like, oh, new, got it, cool. I'm not refreshing the page, but I'm just going to come over here and start typing. And all right, nice. An improvement, right? Right? I think so. But this is really nice. I just updated the sass, had it show up live. I just updated the JavaScript, it evaluated live. I didn't refresh the page at all, and I'm going really fast. I'm liking what I'm doing so much that I'm going to come over here. Let's get diff. Yeah. I just remote debugged my phone, made these changes over on my phone. I mean, I'm seeing it here on my screen, but the changes are also saved to disk. Over in variables.scss, I have my change here. My big CSS was recompiled, and then, of course, my JavaScript changed here, too. So all this is persisted to disk, and I'm pretty happy with it. So I'm just going to git commit. So good. Okay, I'm not going to, because who wants that thing to happen? That's just crazy. All right, cool. Let's come on back now. All right, so the DevTools support for sass that I showed you is not sass specific. It's generalized for anything that outputs source maps in CSS. Less just added this in less 1.5. In fact, here's a quick video of this in action. This is a little Bootstrap page coming in. And what we do is we just select this kind of the well in Bootstrap. And when you see it's a less file, we're going to command click just like we did before, apply a little darken function, and hit save. The recompile happens. We bring in the new CSS, and you get to go really fast. I also know that work is happening to bring source maps to AutoPrefixer, to Compass, and I hear rumors about stylists considering it as well. So all of this paints a really nice picture of DevTools giving me a lot of powerful features when it comes to editing and authoring and iterating fast. All my changes can be saved to disk. I can be editing sass and less and getting those updates directly. I can be editing anything really in this project, C++, Markdown, the whole thing. This also means that if I'm authoring here inside the DevTools, I can also be placing breakpoints. This is really nice. I hit breakpoints. I find my bug. I fix it. I hit Command-S. And V8 immediately gets that new thing. I then see that the bug is gone, and I'm all good. I never had to refresh the page at all. So I get the nice live edit reevaluation right on the fly. If you make a mistake and you don't want that change, Command-Z, all your way back. Works everywhere. And I can do all this while I'm remote debugging. It's the same powerful feature set on the phone. So a lot of what I showed today is newish. And in fact, there's a brand new beta for Chrome and Android, version 32, shipping today. So I encourage you to grab that if you want to be able to replicate everything that I showed. And of course, everything is moving very fast on desktop. The mobile emulation features that I showed have been landing over the past few weeks. And there's some great stuff. So definitely grab Chrome Canary and check out the latest and greatest there. And I was like putting together kind of this presentation, and I took a step back, and I just like had this Keanu moment. And I was just like, whoa. Because I was like, I now have this like insight as to what are the actual GPU characteristics on the phone, and I can see that happening. These things I didn't even show, this is a flame chart of the JavaScript evaluation of a WebGL experience, and I can see what my most expensive functions are and quickly drill into that very quickly, or do a Canvas or WebGL profile and gain insight into the characteristics of how that's executing. There's a lot going on. This is moving fast, but all in all, it's giving you a lot of insight on how to make user experiences across multiple devices that are fluid, fast, and awesome. So a lot of this is documented at devtools.chrome.com. I encourage you to check that out. And please, if you have any bugs, feature requests, anything for the DevTools, holler at me. Just let me know. I'll make it happen. I'll do my best. And thank you guys very much.